Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I'm joined by softball player number 10, Kaylynn Johnson. Today, Kaylynn and I talk about her historic career at Marymount and what it was like to be on that inaugural team 4 years ago and the growth that they've made. With that, let's talk to Kaylynn. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Made by Marymount, the official Marymount Athletics podcast. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest that I've been waiting to have on this podcast. I am joined by women's softball player Kaylynn Johnson. Trizzy K, how are we doing?
I'm blessed as always. Wonderful to be here. I'm so excited.
I am excited. We've been waiting on this one.
Oh, yes. I've been waiting. I will say I'm the biggest fan of this podcast.
That is, and you know what, Kaylynn, that is so true. I tell Jacob about that all the time. If I have any supporters, one of them is Kaylynn Johnson. She's probably the top of the list right there with my parents. Yes. Kaylynn supports me in this podcast so much, and I am excited to give her the spotlight on this because you deserve it.
Thank you.
You deserve it. Probably one of the most deserving people to be sitting in this chair in front of me right now.
Thank you.
So, Kaylynn, before we get into kind of your history of Marymount, because it's a lot, tell me a little bit. I always start off this way, I'm sure, as you know. How did you get to Marymount?
So it's actually a very long process. I was actually working at Audi in Arlington for 8 months or so. And out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? I want to go play at the next level. I talked to one of my old travel coaches. I was like, find somewhere for me to play. And she was like, you know, here's Marymount. They're starting a new program. You know, start here and we'll go from there. And ever since then, I never looked back. I toured the campus. I was like, sign me up. I'm ready.
Right. And so I think that's a good starting point. You were a part of that first team.
Yes.
So what about that brought you here? Because there was nothing to base it off of. You were like, well, all or nothing right now because there's no history. You can't see previous games, previous history. There's nothing there. You went in here with a full heart, you know?
I kind of just saw it as like, you know, I'm going to make a legacy. We're going to start something where, you know, the younger girls can look up and be like, I want to be a part of that team. I want to be one of those Marymount girls.
And so as you're in your final year at Marymount, what is it, what's one word you would use to describe the last 4 years?
Crazy. I tell people all the time, we've gone through so many things as a team and friends all over. You know, there are stories that I can tell when I come back from my alumni day and be like, we had to go through this. You guys have the easy route, basically. Right. It's been crazy, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I talk to my teammates all the time. We bring up stories and it's a good experience for sure, but it's been crazy.
So, because there's so many, I had to write a list. So let's talk about your 4 years. Okay. So Atlantic East Player of the Year last year in 2023, first team All-Region in 23, first team All-Conference 23, and last year, I believe?
I think so.
Yeah. Virginia SID first team All-State, NFCA Player of the Year watch list, and you were, including this week, 6-time Player of the Week for the Atlantic East Conference. Talk about some honors, and that is phenomenal. Yeah. I don't even have to sit here and tell you that's crazy because I think it's, it tells itself. What has that been like to continually have success that you earn and that you work hard for, but to continue year after year performing? It's
a hard process. My freshman year, actually, I didn't have a good season at all. And I guess you could say that put a fire under me. I wanted to come and prove a point. And I just, ever since then, I would pick up extra practices, extra weight room sessions, anything I could do to get better, I would. And I always have the mindset that I need to be the best of the best. I want to be better than Marywood. I want to be better than the Cabrini. I want to be better than everybody because I want my team to be successful. It's hard. It's been a lot. My body has for sure felt
You're like, oh man, I get that one.
Yeah, my body for sure is coming to its end, I would say, these last 4 years. So the grind is crazy. I tell people all the time, if you want to be successful, you have to put the work in outside of practice.
So putting that work in, like outside of practice, what is, for you, maybe, what is the hardest part, about like that outside work? Maybe like you do your routine stuff every single day of practice. What's something outside of that on your own that you have to do that it maybe is the hardest thing that you have to do, but has contributed a lot to that success that you've had over the last 3 years and coming to 4?
I would basically say it's like the days that you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it, but you got to. Mm-hmm. You have to work on certain things. You have to hit for that hour long. You have to be in the weight room that extra hour that you don't want to be there. I used to go after practice all the time, or I would go to practice and then come to practice exhausted, but I still have to give whatever I have in the tank that day because I want to be the best.
Right. So let's say you're in this situation. Okay, you're stepping up to the plate. And obviously at the end of the day, we know Kaylynn Johnson's going to hit some bombs. We know that. What is your mindset stepping up to the plate in that sense? Because, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. You can hope what's going to happen, but you don't know what's going to happen. So what is your approach maybe when you're on deck to the point where, you know, you're at the plate, you know, pitcher deals and you're about to swing?
So if I'm on the deck, I'm kind of just relaxing, goofing off, seeing what the pitcher's throwing, what kind of balls she has, spin, hearing what my other teammates have to say and cheering them on. And then when I'm getting up, I hear my walk-up music. I'm like, bring it. Bring what you have.
I haven't been this year because you guys you play in the week. Playing the week this far. I will be there next week though. Don't you worry. Do you still have the same walk-up?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Loud and heavy.
Yes. It's like I feel like every time I hear that. So when I worked in the Potomac League over the summer and I heard that, I was like, that is Kaylynn's song. Yes. That's nobody else but Kaylynn's song in my book.
And people are like, it fits you, but I would never expect that from you. I was like, yeah. I mean, my teammates honestly brought it up to me my sophomore year, and I was like, let's do it. Whatever.
Let's do it. I like it. I like when people like keep the same song. Yeah, kind of like make it their own. I like that.
But some of our walk-up songs are pretty. I like some of our songs.
You guys are fun. We're gonna touch on you guys as a team and all. You guys are fun.
Yes.
But so you hear your walk-up. You know what? I guess I kind of like get you going.
Oh yeah, it gets me pumped. I'm in the box. I'm like, bring it. Bring your best pitch. It's us against each other. Like, I'm gonna show you why I'm here, and I'm gonna show you like what's up. Basically,
that like gave me chills. That like gave me chills. Yes. If I was a pitcher and I saw Kaylynn come out to the box,
yeah.
I would have to like lock in. I would have to take a couple of deep breaths.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple pitchers in the conference and they're like, I just don't want to pitch to you. And I'm like, yeah, but some reason you still do. And they're like, my coach. I'm like, I don't tell you.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yes.
That's what they
Let
say.
the kids play. That's what I always say.
So before I want to touch on you guys as a team, but touch on you a little bit. So obviously, you know, we talk a little bit about continued success. However, just like any athlete knows, every day is not going to be your best day. And as much as that, you know, is unfortunate, that's just that's just a harsh truth of it all. How do you deal with that? Because obviously you deal with it in a way where it doesn't tear you down completely. I'm sure in the moment you're like, man, this is not what I anticipated. This is not what I wanted. But life goes on, games still go on. Like, you have to keep going.
So I hold myself to a really high standard. So when, you know, the outcome isn't the way I want to, I will be upset. But I know the 8 other girls in the lineup can do it too. They can do what they have to make us successful. So it all doesn't rely on me. And over the last 4 years, I've learned that the 8 other girls can do it as well. So if I'm not having a good game, I'm going 0 for and 3 strikeouts or whatever, my other teammates got me. It's not all up to me. So I just kind of, you know, my teammates got it, move on. That's all you can do is flush it, let it go.
So talking about your teammates, you guys are so fun. You guys are so fun. You go to a softball game, vibes are high. I think Jacob and I say that all the time. Vibes are so high at a softball game. You guys are fun and you love the game, which as a fan, as a worker, you know, as whatever, you can't ask for anything more than that. What's it like? I mean, you guys have had so many like players throughout your 4 years, people who have graduated and moved on, and you've had the, you know, freshmen that have come and really stepped up, you know, in the last, I guess now 3 years for you in your 4th year. What has it been like, you know, playing on this team that is just a bunch of fun girls?
It's a great time. Game days are always the best. Practices are always the best. We're here to have a fun time, but we're also here to work. So having that happy medium, like, we're just vibing. Game days, the energy's up, we're cheering, we're ready to play. We worked so hard during practices that game days are just easy for us at that point.
What is your favorite cheer that you guys do?
I like when, oh my God, that's such a hard question because we have so many good.
Yeah, you do.
I think my favorite one is when we go A, B, C, D, E, E, E. Pressures on the D, D, D.
Hey.
Yeah. It's when the defense usually makes an error.
Okay.
So it's kind of like not antagonizing the infield, but like, you know,
hey.
It's a good cheer. I like it personally, but I also, my personal favorite cheer when my teammates cheer for me is like, what is it? It's like the big 1-0 back it up. It's a big 1-0 type cheer. It gives me the chills. Yeah.
10.
But cheers are crazy. I love them.
So I guess I want to backtrack that. So let's say, you're having a bad day. Let's say, you are 0 for 3 strikeouts. You got one more at bat left in the game, but your teammates are still there having your back. They're still cheering for you. What does that do for you mentally?
Mentally, like, my teammates believe in me. I could still be having a horrible game. And if I get that one base hit, they believed in me. So I'm going up and I still have the confidence that I had from when I didn't have 3 strikeouts because I know my teammates believed in me from the get-go. They know what I'm capable of, and they know that if they keep cheering for each one of us, we're going to be unstoppable at that point.
And so over the course of your career, you guys have had a couple of postseason runs and being like still, 4 years is a young team, until you guys hit about like 10. In my eyes, the way I see it, that's still a really young team. What has that been like, you've seen the growth of this team, especially, being here from literally day one, literally day one from that team. And you've seen just the growth. What has that been like, and having be one of the people that people look up to on this team,
It's a happy moment, I would say, coming from day one to now, seeing the growth that every single one of us that started, the sophomores, the juniors, the freshmen, even, the growth is crazy. I know that if we keep going up from here, we're going to be untouchable. Even if us seniors don't make it far, I hope we do. I know that we're leaving the team at a good place. We're leaving the legacy of you get 1% better every day. That's the kind of the motto we have, get 1% better every single day.
And you including with, all of, especially your senior teammates being on that inaugural first year team, you guys will go down in history books for that. And I think that that's crazy to look back on. You talk about, coming back on your alumni day or homecoming weekend, you come back to these Marymount softball games and you remember, what it was like. What is one thing you think you'll remember that was a change that you guys made in 4 years?
Ooh, honestly, I would say the team chemistry coming together. That's a big thing for us. I think a flip of a switch from a fall to spring season chemistry is a big thing for us. I think we came together so close. Even the juniors and the sophomores, we've gotten so close.
Right.
And we kind of want to leave the legacy of the chemistry is where it's at. So being together as one is better than individuals, I guess you could say.
Because you're very close with the senior class. You live with 2?
Yeah, I live with Avery and Haley. Shout out to them.
And have you and Haley been roommates all 4 years?
No, I was actually roommates with our GA, Liz Corcoran.
Oh,
my first 2 years.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I was about to say, I always knew you. I knew you and Haley last year together. I didn't know that was the first year. What is it like living with your teammates? I never lived with any swimmers, so I don't really know. It can be good and it can be bad, I guess. But I don't know. You kind of strike me as it's a good thing.
It's a really good thing, I can have a bad game and they know how to cheer me up. They've seen the bad and the good to me. They know what triggers me. They will pick me up. They'll have conversations with me in the room. And just being us together all the time is kind of a chemistry bond already. So coming in, I'm all right, these two have my back. Our Avery and Haley know I have their back at the end of the day.
Right.
So I think you should have lived with some swimmers at the end of the day. I think it's a good thing. I think people should live with teammates. I find it great because we can bring other groups of people in our room and it's a good time.
So before I hit some more fun questions rather than so serious, don't look so nervous. What has been maybe a game, an at-bat for you? What is something that has been considered maybe your favorite memory of the last 3 years?
I have quite a few. I think the top 3.
Okay, yeah, let's hear 'em.
Would be the first home run grand slam in program history when we went down to North Carolina. And then I had a walk-off home run in Immaculata the same day I pulled my hamstring sophomore year. I know. I was fighting for my life that day. And then the last one was actually the recent one against Newman in playoffs last year. I think those were it was a grand slam. So it was kind of the big 3 moments.
Yeah, a grand slam is that's up there, I would think.
Yeah, I think we were losing the game and that just flipped the switch right there. Those were the 3 big moments for me that I'm yeah.
So one more question that brings up a good point that I want to ask. Flipping the switch in a game. So let's say things aren't going your way through the beginning half. Something happens, switches flip. How are you guys? Not necessarily, obviously vibes are going to increase. Every energy is going to go up. Adrenaline's going to rise for everybody. But obviously, you know just as well as everything else, everything can happen in the flip of a switch.
Yeah.
Things can go downhill. Things can go uphill really, really quickly.
Yeah.
What are you guys? How are you maybe like you huddle up right before, you know, you break and you take the field. How are you guys like staying like, it's good, it's not over?
I think kind of the mentality we have this season is good, basically. It's not going our way. The umpires are making horrible calls. Good. It is what it is. We can control what we can control.
Mm-hmm.
We can control what pitches we're swinging at, what balls that we're going to take or whatnot. We can work on defense. Like, we can control our throws, X, Y, and Z kind of things. So we kind of focus these last couple weeks on what can we control and good. Okay. Good, it's raining outside. Good, we're playing in rain, you know, type of thing. Like, good.
Okay.
So,
good.
Yeah, good.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have some final questions.
Okay. I also have a question for you at the end.
I don't like when the roles are switched. Yes, I don't like that. Okay. My first one. Where did Drizzy K come from?
It was actually an inside joke my junior year in high school with a couple friends, like maybe 2 or 3 friends. And I was like, you know, I really don't have a nickname. I just go by K. And they were like, we're going to call you Drizzy K. I was like, sure. And I would always be like, nah, you got to call me Drizzy K. And they're like, it's never going to stick. And then last year I won Player of the Year. They put Drizzy K. And I was like, no way. I finally made it in life.
You made it.
Yes, I made it in life.
That was your I made it moment. Yeah. Being called Drizzy K.
Yeah. I actually sent it to my friends and was like, look, I made it in life.
I told you guys this would stick.
Exactly.
So it's on your glove, right?
It is on my thumb part. And then I won't let go on the other side.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I thought Drizzy K was on the glove.
Yeah.
So my next question is, where's the chain? Why don't we have the chain on today? I should have told you to wear
What chain?
Your big Marymount chain.
Oh, the home run chain. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love that chain.
Where did that come from?
It got brought into our sophomore year.
Is that yours?
It's the team.
Okay.
So it was like whoever gets a home run, you get put back.
I didn't know if you like brought it in.
No, I think it was one of our coaches, if I can remember correctly. So yeah, it was just a home run chain, a lot of softball teams, and I want to say even baseball in college, like all over D1, D2 kind of things.
Yeah, I think the guys have like the Bernie barrel, so you guys have that one. Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like different, depends on what the team. We just have a big old chain that has the Bernie head on it.
That thing is sick.
It is. It really is.
I bet when like it gets placed onto you, you're like, yes.
I'm like, yeah, this is my chain.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, even though it gets caught in my hair so many times.
Well, I bet your hair's like super long. So one other question I have, and I just happen to know this because I know you outside of softball. Mm-hmm. I know that you are a music listener.
Oh, yes.
So tell me a little bit about, like, are you a music listener before you play? Or are you kind of like vibing with everybody, like trying just to like, you know, feel the feels? Or are you headphones in, AirPods in, listening to music, getting ready?
So I have a whole routine before a game.
Let's go through that then.
People will say I'm crazy because I find something that works. I have to do it every single time.
Okay.
So I'll wake up at least 2 hours before we have to load the bus for either away or a home game. I will go get a bagel with cream cheese, a plain bagel with cream cheese.
Okay, I was going to ask. I'm glad you clarified that.
I'll watch a little bit of like college softball, kind of listen to Rod Wave here and there.
And that was one of my, I was going to ask, what was your favorite Broadway song?
I love Broadway.
I know you do.
I can't even name, like, I have so many favorite songs by him, but I think probably my favorite one is probably Sweet Little Lies.
Okay.
I should go check that one out. And so then I'll do my makeup. I'll do my hair, which would take about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I put my clothes on, and then I take a picture and send it to my stepmom and be like, happy game day.
Sweet.
Yeah. And she goes, well, go hit a home run, have fun, X, Y, and Z. And then I'm actually always on aux. So I kind of have to play the music on the bus and stuff. So I'm kind of just vibing, looking outside, trying to keep my heart rate down because when I start getting antsy is when, you know, chaos starts to happen. I throw the certain amount. I hit when we warm up, I hit the same amount of balls off a tee, wiffle balls, X, Y, and Z. Everything has a certain amount of swings.
Does that change?
Nope.
No. So it's always the same. It doesn't change depending on the day. And then it's at 7 one day. It's 7 for that whole day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Okay.
And I usually try to get some type of like Olive Garden or something the night before, going out somewhere to eat.
Okay.
Kind of crazy. And then I'm usually just trying to stay relaxed as long as possible because when I start getting antsy is when I start getting too hype and get chaos, basically.
That's where things go a little wild.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you know what they say about routines. If it's broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
And it seems to be working for you. So I really don't see why we would be changing it, to be quite honest with you. All right. What do you got for me?
So it was actually a podcast not too long ago. You brought up you were a Yankees fan.
Yes.
My roommate Avery is a diehard Yankees fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but I did apply to be a Yankee third baseman for this team because they don't have one. I DM'd them.
You DM'd them?
Yeah, and I sent them my stats and everything. I said, if you want a good third baseman, please make sure you choose wisely. So if the Yankees are watching this, please hire me.
I hope they're watching. For both of our sake, I hope they're watching. Oh my, I would buy that jersey.
So that got brought up and we were hearing your podcast about you being a Yankees fan. And she wants to know what made you a Yankees fan.
My dad grew up in New York. He's from Long Island. And my dad was a Yankees fan growing up. And I, for a long time, really just wasn't into baseball. I didn't really understand the game till 2016 when the Cubs won the World Series. Somebody from my hometown played for the Cubs that year. He threw the last pitch. He was the closer of that game. Mm-hmm. So that was just a big deal for I was from a really small town in South Carolina, Little Mountain. Nobody's ever heard of it. But that's where I grew up from. And that's where I got into baseball. And then my dad was like, well, technically you're a Yankee fan. I was like, okay. And it just kind of stuck with me then. And I just kind of formed a relationship with that team on my own. So it's been really fun. But it's been nice because that was the opening door to put me at where I am today, which now I've learned, I never really, I'll be honest with you, never really knew too much about softball. I thought it was very different.
Yeah.
Up until probably about my sophomore year when I started working.
Yeah.
And I realized, or actually probably when I lived with Sam and Sheila and Abby, that's when I realized, oh wait, it's different, but it's also not that different. The mechanics are kind of the same. And so that's when I kind of put myself in the position of baseball and softball for Marymount, just because I knew those sports, so well. However, you guys like to play in the middle of the week when I have class. So
tell me about it.
Don't worry. I'll be there next week.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Mm-hmm.
And Immaculata, the 29th, you have to be there. Yeah, put that in
It's on my calendar.
Jacob, you're going to be there too, right? Slay.
We'll have a packed house for that one. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll get the people there. Well, Kaylynn, this is long awaited, and what fun it has been. I loved having you on here today. Talking to you it's fun, and you show a real passion for the game, which I think is so important. And you're a female athlete in all female sport, which I think is so important. And you show not only love for the game, but you propel in the game, and you've paved a lot of way for girls to come. And I think that's really important to note. And as I stated earlier, you will be in the record books. You'll be in the history books for Marymount softball. And I think that's something to be proud of for you. So I loved getting to talk to you. You have a wonderful season ahead of you, and it's only just really begun.
Yeah,
it's only really just begun. So thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
Loved talking to you.
I enjoyed every second of this. #biggest fan on the podcast.
Thanks, Drizzy K.
Of course.